That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
All right, guys, thank you all so much. We are so close to 21,000 subscribers. I promise y'all, in 2021, we will hit 100,000. We over 10x'd our subscriber count this year, and we started back in week 2. I think now that we're going to start a little bit earlier on, if we can easily 5x it, knowing exactly what kind of videos y'all want, knowing that we are going to live stream every single night, outwork anybody else on Fantasy Football YouTube, because the flock is strong. The flock is only growing, and we are going to be crushing our fantasy football leagues in 2020 going into the playoffs. I think that's why it's so important to make sure we are diving into these matchups, making sure that we know what players we want to start, making sure we know what players need to be on our benches, just because really, this is the time of the year that you get that playoff top seed locked. You get a bye in your first round. That's going to really help you out to make sure that you can make it to the championship game. You can take down that title. And more importantly, you can take down that cash pot, which I'm sure we are all chasing with Christmas coming in. We need to go out there. We need to get our family those gifts. So yeah, let's continue to grind it out throughout the rest of the season. And let's start this conversation of the top 5 running backs that we need to be starting in week 12, right off with Kareem Hunt. Now, I know, guys, Kareem Hunt looked very bad this past week for the Cleveland Browns, only having a total of 21 yards with both his rushing and his receiving off of 14 total touches. Now, this type of efficiency was horrendous for Kareem Hunt, but we know that they are going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars this week, and I am always wanting to try to bet on Kareem Hunt where I can. Y'all know this is a running back that I loved coming into 2020. I thought that he was severely undervalued in fantasy drafts. Now, yes, I did tell you to sell him high 2 weeks ago. That was back when you could have traded him for a player like an Austin Eckler. And I know a lot of people were annoyed with me saying, Mason, what the hell? You really liked Kareem Hunt? Now you're telling us to sell him high? And I was saying, yeah, guys, I mean, it's all about value. If we can go out there, get that production and profit on top of it, it would make a ton of sense. Regardless, if you still have him on your roster, I think going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's going to make so much sense to go out there and put him in our starting lineup. We're looking at Kareem Hunt consistently having that passing down role for the Kansas City Chiefs. Nick Chubb actually so far in 2020 has a total of 4 targets. Yes, I said that correct. Nick Chubb in 2020 has 4 total targets. Kareem Hunt is the pass-catching running back on this offense. Kareem Hunt also vultures some touchdowns away from Nick Chubb. We saw that this past week where Kareem Hunt was actually able to save his day. So I think based on the fact that we know he has that role locked in on his offense, he is going to be a running back that we can safely assume is going to be a running back 2 based on touches alone. And he has a fantastic matchup this week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We could see the efficiency go up a little bit. I think that Kareem Hunt is going to be in line for a big bounce back spot. He's going to be a mid to high end running back 2 for me. That's going to be very easy to get in your starting lineup. All right, so now our next running back is not as exciting because he's just not talented, but with how bad the running back position currently is with injuries, I think we're going to be having to look at his direction. This is Wayne Gallman. Now, I know, guys, Wayne Gallman's not going to be a running back 1, but this is a running back that's seeing pretty much every single touch in his backfield. The last week we saw Wayne Gallman in action, he almost had 20 total touches, scored 2 touchdowns, went for 60 yards. And now what is great about Wayne Gallman in week 12, not only is Devontae Freeman still going to be out this week, but Wayne Gallman is going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. And we know the Bengals have had one of the worst defenses all season, but we would not be as excited about Wayne Gallman if it was not for the Joe Burrow injury. Because now that Joe Burrow is out for the Cincinnati Bengals team, we are not going to be able to see the Bengals move the ball efficiently down the field whatsoever. So we're going to see a lot of 3 and outs. We are going to see the score be very low for the Cincinnati Bengals, where the New York Giants are going to be heavy favorites in this matchup, where the Giants don't necessarily need to go out there and aggressively push the ball down the field with Daniel Jones. They'll be able to just run out the clock pretty much the entire game with Wayne Gallman. nothing I am worried about here with Gallman outside of the fact that he's just not a talented running back. I just think that he has a high floor with his role on this offense, and given the fact that he has a very, very easy matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals, and the New York Giants should be clearly the favorites in this game. All right, so now our next running back plays on Thursday. This is a running back that we need to make sure is going to be active for this game because he's currently questionable. DeAndre Swift. Guys, right now, if DeAndre Swift is good to go and is cleared from concussion protocol, we are going to be expecting DeAndre Swift to be a top 10 running back easily in a matchup against the Houston Texans, who allow almost 6 yards per carry to the opposing running backs. The Houston Texans have one of the worst rush defenses in the entire NFL. We've seen this week over week over week where really they cannot tackle anybody. And what's great about DeAndre Swift is not only has he seen this usage in the receiving game all season, he has been consistently the running back one in terms of targets out of the backfield. But actually in week 9, if y'all don't remember, it was not that long ago. I'm sorry, actually in week 10, DeAndre Swift went out there and was announced the starting running back for the Detroit Lions over Adrian Peterson. Now, I know the coach is coming out there and saying that doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot, but what does mean a whole lot is the fact that he saw almost every single carry in this offense as well. We saw this past week in week 11, the Detroit Lions really fail with no DeAndre Swift. I think it shows how important Swift is to this offense in a great matchup. He's a very talented running back. I know I've said this a million times, but I want to just kind of brag a little bit here. We had DeAndre Swift as our running back one coming into the NFL draft, a guy that provides you everything. Athleticism, he provides you that size, he provides you that pass catching ability, everything that you would ever want from an elite running back option, and a great matchup this week against a very bad Houston Texans run defense. You could not ask for more from DeAndre Swift. Now we're just going to have to make sure that we have him clear concussion protocol. All right, so now our next running back, another player who is playing on Thursday in a fantastic matchup, Antonio Gibson. Guys, I don't want to spend a ton of time with Antonio Gibson because it seems like I talk about him in every single video. But this is a running back that I loved coming into the season. I loved coming into the NFL draft. Y'all know if y'all been following the channel for a while, this summer I would not shut up about Antonio Gibson. And it's because of his elite athletic profile, where he is one of the most talented running backs in the entire NFL. He's right up there with Saquon Barkley. If you don't believe me, look it up. Just because his size-adjusted athleticism is unreal. A lot of people with Antonio Gibson came out here and said that he was not going to be able to be an impact player year one just because he was a wide receiver, kind of a gadget player at Memphis. They thought he was going to have to transition over and really take some time to learn the running back spot for the Washington football team. Well, that did not happen at all. Antonio Gibson has came in, and Antonio Gibson has gotten this role right away. And I'll say the one problem with Gibson is actually something we did not expect, and that he is not getting an insane amount of targets out of the backfield. We just kind of naturally assumed that because he was a wide receiver at Memphis, that he had that elite pass catching ability, that he was going to be able to get heavily utilized out of the backfield in terms of the passing game for the Washington football team, which has actually been fallen on to J.D. McKissic, who is really lifting all of that workload away from Antonio Gibson. Here with the matchup against the Dallas Cowboys, I really don't think it's even going to matter just because the Washington football team should be ahead pretty much this entire game. All right, so now our last running back, a running back that had a breakout performance this past week, Jonathan Taylor. Just when everybody left him for dead, Jonathan Taylor came out here, over 25 total touches, over 100 total yards, and getting some usage in the receiving game. Now, I think with Jonathan Taylor, yes, this is a running back that's going to be volatile this week. Yes, it's in the range of outcomes for Jonathan Taylor to get his role scaled back, where maybe he only sees 10 carries and 1 reception. But it's also in the range of outcomes for Jonathan Taylor to maintain this usage, and we know he has the talent. It was never a question on if Jonathan Taylor was a talented running back or not. The question was, how many looks is Jonathan Taylor going to get in this Indianapolis Colts offense, because Jonathan Taylor actually saw 3 straight 2,000 total yard seasons at Wisconsin throughout his college career. I mean, we know he is talented. We just need to make sure that he is the starting running back for this Indianapolis Colts offense, who have a fantastic offensive line. I think that we can say that that is going to be the case in Week 12. On top of it, they are going up against the Tennessee Titans, who have given up a good amount of rushing production to opposing offenses so far in 2020. So everything that I'm looking about this matchup really makes me want to play Jonathan Taylor. Now, thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, if y'all did, go down there, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps us out. And I hope I'll see y'all in the live stream tonight at 9 p.m. Central. I'll also be live streaming on Friday and Saturday at 9 p.m. Central as well.